I feel like I'm breaking the law constantly.
Everybody's staring at me and I don't like it.
I already got a feeling that I'm never gonna financially recover from this. Welcome to Istanbul. You've probably heard of that place. It's, you know, only the biggest city in Europe. And together with the size and population of this place, there's also a lot of rumors about things that you should and should not do here. So today we're gonna put our own skin on the line and try out some of those forbidden things. I quickly want to add that although some of the things that we're gonna try to do are definitely not the smartest, then the point of this video is not to put ourselves in danger. And I'm really not just saying this because our grandmas are watching this. The thing is that as we were researching our trip to Istanbul, we found so much information about the city that is simply not true. Articles filled with rules that are forcing on stereotypes, and so we decided that we want to try those things out ourselves to see if those stereotypes are actually true. So for the first one, we're gonna do something that if that goes wrong, the rest of the video is probably not gonna happen. Quite a few articles said don't drink the water in Istanbul. It's actually a known story for many travelers that in some parts of the world, tap water or even ice cubes in your drink can make you sick. In fact, many locals in Istanbul prefer bottled water, but there's a good reason for it. In Istanbul and Turkey, water is drinkable, it's treated, it has a little bit of a side taste, so the bottled water has better taste, but I'm positive that I will not get sick from drinking that. So let's just carry on with the video. A thing that almost every list says is that you should never buy anything without bargaining on Turkish market. And of course, to do that, we chose the market. Grand Bazaar in Istanbul is one of the biggest and most known markets in the world. It's full of shiny and expensive things. I already got a feeling that I'm never gonna financially recover from this. Yet, it also has a reputation of having many sneaky salesmen. So we needed a plan not to spend all of our traveling money only on this one task. First idea was simple. Since Liisu was hungry, Turkish sweets would probably be the best option. Liisu tried some sweets and well, I got distracted. We simply wanted to buy 2 pieces of baklava. But yes, the salesman was up to us. He asked 100 Turkish lira for 2 pieces. I was shocked. The price was outrageous and I bargained it down to 50. I failed miserably. The task was harder than I thought. And the second plan was to buy something I actually need. Cause maybe then I would be willing to pay the full price for it. Well, that was definitely not it. With every step I realized that this rule should actually be followed. Bargaining is just a huge part of the culture here. But still, it had to be done. It's a nice shirt. I even came clean to the salesman. For this video, I promised myself that I'm not gonna bargain. I did not want to pay that. Usually I bargain a lot, but it didn't make him softer and he did not lower the price. Well, at least one of us was happy about this deal. Okay, I'm not sure if I like the concept of this video that much anymore, but let's move on. The third thing on the list is a big topic amongst female travelers. The dress code. Almost every article says that women should dress modestly. But this is simply not true. What to wear in Turkey is a free choice for everybody. And assuming that it's a Islamic or Arab country is actually quite offensive to many of the locals. For 100 years they worked hard to get rid of this reputation, and the only place with a dress code is a mosque. Throughout their stay, Liisu tried wearing different clothes on different days. And yes, when wearing a dress, she got more attention.
Everybody's staring at me and I don't like it. Today I don't like it.
But I think that's just how it is. If a beautiful woman wears a beautiful dress, she will be noticed. It doesn't matter which part of the world you're currently in. As we were walking on the streets of Istanbul, we noticed another thing that nobody had mentioned online. And that thing would be, do not exchange currency in downtown areas. It really looked like a scam. The best way to exchange your currency is through Wise or Revolut. And our experience says that Wise is a little bit better option. It's way cheaper than banks, has better exchange rate than many of those places on the street. So just as a tip, if you or anyone from your family works abroad and needs to exchange money, or if you're traveling, or if you just want to combat the current inflation and exchange your liras into dollars, for example, then Wise is probably the best option. No pressure here, guys. This video is not sponsored by Wise or by Revolut. We're just sharing our 8 years of travel experience, and that has been the cheapest way to exchange currency. And if you want to know more about Wise, then you can check out the invitation link in the description. If you use that link, I think it gives you like a $500 transition free or something like this. But now let's talk a bit more about the rules surrounding Turkish food.
The next thing is sort of conditional, but don't tell me what to do.
First rule, do not eat near touristy places. Yes, it will cost you a bit more, but sometimes the view is worth it. Second rule, do not eat at McDonald's and Burger King. As it turns out, I also don't like to be told what to do.
Rebel to the max, don't tell anybody.
But I do agree with this one. Turkey has such a beautiful food culture, and if you're here for a short holiday and only have limited amount of meals, then you should definitely eat Turkish food and try as much of it as possible. And the third thing truly pissed me off. Do not eat in small and unauthorized places.
And of course, the article also said that the most dangerous thing is seafood. So here we are.
I've been traveling now for 8 years and never have I gotten sick from street food. Yet fancy restaurants have given food poisoning to me more than once.
On the middle of the street there's a weird line.
If you think of it, those small vendors cook only one thing for most of their lives. So firstly, they have definitely perfected the recipe. Plus, they are known in their neighborhood. So if they make a mistake and give their customers food poisoning, they will lose both their only income and reputation. And this is probably the reason why those places have quite high quality food.
That's delicious.
And really cheap prices. So once again, don't be afraid of street food. It's cheap, delicious, and also a cultural experience, I would say. As food mostly calms me down, I guess it's time to once again crank up the speed and talk about one of the most stressful parts of this city. Everybody says that you should avoid rush hour traffic at all costs. And we really did not want to do this.
I do not envy them.
Here we go. Istanbul has been rated to have the worst traffic in the world. And it really is harsh.
Can I go here? I feel like I'm breaking the law constantly. That's how you make one rose into two rows.
It's a total shock if you are here for the first time. But even worse is the situation for locals. For many, getting to work takes about 2 hours and the same amount coming home. 4 hours a day in traffic. Out of every 7 years lived, they spend about 1 year sitting in traffic.
Please don't, please, 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 please.
So this rule is definitely true.
We have made it to the center of Istanbul. That behind me is Taksim Square. And I'm not sure why, but a lot of people told us not to take the tram on the main street in here. So we're gonna see how it looks like and do exactly that.
We realized fast why riding the Istiklal tram was not advised. There was a lot of people trying to get on it. We felt both elbows and shoulders in our sides, and really nobody seemed to have manners in here. Once we got on, there was only standing places left. And yes, the ride was quite okay.
And also, this tram is one of those iconic must-do things many people say you should definitely do in this city. But if I'm being completely honest with you, it was nothing that special, and looking the tram go up and down the street itself is probably a little bit more special.
How was the train?
Crowded.
The rules about Istiklal Street didn't end with the tram. Next up, do not shop on Istiklal. Well,
Send help.
it's a shopping street. Yes, it's more expensive than markets, but if you want to buy brand clothes, that's pretty much the place. And yeah, once again, we just had to do it. Surprisingly, the stores were especially popular among Russians. But I guess thanks to their president's decisions, many of those brands have left their country at the moment. While on this famous street, we remembered our friend saying, if you see a place selling apple tea, just run the other way. Well, Google says the same. And for us, that means apple tea.
The moment I started thinking that I feel comfortable with Turkish, I messed up 1 and 2 numbers, so I got 2 and 2. Now we're gonna have a huge tea tasting.
We tried it in town center, and in here it cost the same as a regular Turkish tea.
So this regular Turkish tea is black tea.
And the thing with apple tea is that it's made out of a powder, and you can't really compare those two.
It's really not a tea, more like a warm, sweet drink, but we would probably have another cup around Christmas time. The next 2 things happened to us by accident, before we even wanted to make this video.
That's the first person we met in Istanbul.
The rules say, do not trust strangers.
We are now just following a random Turkish guy somewhere.
Istanbul, as every big city, has bad people and scammers. One of the best known scams in here is luring tourists into bars and then leaving them with extremely high bills to pay. But the story with our stranger went a little different. The guy took us out for a dinner, then to a bar. But instead of leaving us with a bill, he ambushed Liisu in a bathroom like a pervert, trying to kiss her. Yeah, it really was a stupid thing, trusting a total stranger. And now looking back, we were just lucky to get away from that situation without more trouble. And while we were leaving, pretty much by accident, we broke another rule. Do not use taxis. Well, this one is quite simple. You just have to make sure that the taxi is legit. First off, if there's a company name on the side of the car, that's a good sign. Secondly, make sure there's a meter inside of a taxi. Every huge city has fake taxis, so does Istanbul. So yeah, definitely be careful with the taxis, but you can use them.
And this midnight taxi ride cost us 3 euros with tip. So horrible, horrible.
And once again, I want to add to the stranger point that although you shouldn't trust every person on the street, then most Turkish people are actually very kind and hospitable.
Smile.
We have had so many good experiences with local Turkish people on our travels, and really, if somebody asks you for a cup of tea and that person feels trustworthy, then definitely have a cup of tea with them. It's just a beautiful, beautiful way to see the local culture. And to finally show you how absurd some of those articles can be, here are final 2 things that some say you shouldn't do in Istanbul. Do not stay on the Asian side. No, 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 no. Istanbul's public transport system is very good and cheap. It is easy to get from Asian side to the European side if you want to see the big sites. And also, Asian side or the Anatolian side is the part where locals go. It's cheaper, it's more authentic, so please just don't miss out on the Asian side. And lastly, do not take the cruise. Just come on. Taking a cruise on Prospera Strait is one of the most unique and cheapest things you can do in Istanbul. You get to see many beautiful parts of the city,
and spend 3 hours on a famous street for about €3. Just as a hint, if you are going to take the river cruise, take the one that is organized by Istanbul's municipality. It's really the most authentic and cheapest option to do it. I really hope that this video helped you understand that a lot of those stereotypes and info online is not exactly true. In our personal experience, Turkey is one of the most welcoming countries we have ever visited, and I would say it should be on everybody's travel bucket list. Friends, it was such a pleasure having you with us on this adventure today, and this is gonna be the last video from Istanbul. Next time we will continue our journey in a place where the world-famous kebab was invented. Until then, make sure to check out this playlist in here to see our whole journey from Europe to Japan so far, and we will see you next time. Bye.